New 72 Radio, the voice, views, and visions of the collective.
Good evening, everyone. This is Mary Berger, and this show is called Diva Talk. We broadcast live every other Thursday evening from the West Coast. This week, we happen to be pre-recorded because my producer, Kelly Lair, is actually on vacation. So we pre-recorded this show to be broadcast live on Thursday, October 27th at 7 p.m. We always broadcast live on Facebook. So if you miss us, our archives can always be found on the YouTube channel under New 72 Media, or my YouTube channel, which is Computer Diva MJB. So make sure you go there to check out any archives you might have missed. So while Kelly is on vacation, I am handling everything myself in terms of the recordings. So if I get anything a little messy, that's completely on me and not on Kelly. So with that said, let's kind of get into tonight's show. I have quite a bit to share with all of you. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, or at least show you, was some of the features of the new iOS 11 for the iPhone and the iPad. And I actually wanted to connect to the screen of this actual iPhone here and show you a few features. This is an iPhone 6 Plus that I'm no longer using as a phone, but I certainly use it for a lot of other apps. So I'm actually going to connect up to that screen, and we will see the new features. So give me a second here. I am going to share my screen. I'm going to share the iPhone. And here we go. So now we need to choose our AirPlay. Here we go. Bear with me here, technology. It's getting there. Oh, really? That won't, here we go, yay. So with that said, I'm just gonna go out here to the main screen. There are quite a few new features. I'm not going to go through all of them because I want you all to stay awake and tune into the show. So one of the things I'm going to show you is I'm going to go into this little extras folder here, and I'm going to go into the Tips app. Now, what a lot of people don't realize is that every new version of iOS comes with a new Tips app. And it's a great way for you to get to know the new features of iOS. So I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to say what's new in iOS 11. And I'm going to kind of show you some of these screens. So there's a new customized control center that allows you to get real quick access to a lot of the features. And you get to it by just swiping up from the bottom of the screen. So I'm actually going to bring up my control center on this iPhone. And this is what it looks like. And you can customize this just about any way you want. If you have more icons than fit on this first screen, if we keep swiping up, they're all going to show towards the bottom, which is really kind of awesome. So in this little section, the upper left-hand section, that's called your networking section, where it's got your airplane mode, it's got your Wi-Fi, it's got your Bluetooth, and over here we've got the music controls, which is pretty awesome. We've got our screen lock control here, and we've got our do not disturb. This one is the new one of the new features. It's called screen sharing, which is kind of cool. Of course, this little one here will brighten the screen. This one will turn on the volume just by swiping up and down. We've got our little flashlight over here. We've got a stopwatch, a calculator. We've got our photo app here. I've pretty much customized this whole bottom section to put in what I want to see. And we've got our magnifying glass. We've got the screen record, which is an awesome new feature that allows you to start recording the screen on your iPhone. And maybe you want to do a little screen recording to show a family member how to do something. You create the screen recording, you text it to them, and then they can see exactly how to do like a setting or do something in an app. It's really kind of cool. And I've got my voice memos down here. Like I said, you can customize this any way you want by going into our little settings app and control center and customize controls. And here at the top, you can say include, and I've included all of these apps. You also have more controls for all of these apps here. So you can add all of those to this top section, or you can remove items from the included section. So that's really kind of cool. I'm just going to go back over here to our tips. So that's the control center. And that's what it looks like in the little tips app. The new Files app, this is really kind of intriguing. And the Files app has been designed to kind of mimic the Finder that you would find on your MacBook or your iMac. And it's basically a place to centralize your files. And I have not started using it yet. I haven't had a need, but you can centralize your file storage from, I believe, OneDrive, Dropbox, Box, a lot of your different third-party cloud applications, as well as your Pages and Numbers, your Mac-enabled apps for word processing and spreadsheets. So it's just a file system where you can go to find all your files. Now, this is one of my favorite features, and I've actually used it several times already, and it is Do Not Disturb While Driving. And this is probably one of the most important apps you'll ever want to know about to keep yourself safe on the road. So when I'm driving, my phone is always in a little dock up on my dashboard, and I use it for my GPS. I don't go to any appointment, client appointment, without using the GPS. Even if I know how to get there, it's really nice to know what traffic conditions are like and what time I'm expected to be there. What's my ETA in terms of driving with the traffic conditions? So it's just really nice information. And if there is traffic, it will divert me on to another route. So that's really awesome. But you could still use the GPS while you're in Do Not Disturb while driving. Basically what it does is it turns off all your notifications. It doesn't allow phone calls to come through, and it blocks your text messages. And if any text messages do come in, you can customize the message that is sent out to the person who is sending it to you. So let's go into our control center. Do Not Disturb. Do not disturb while driving. You can auto reply on your text messages to no one, your recents, your favorites, or all contacts. I have my favorites selected here, but I would definitely put all contacts here. And then you can customize the auto reply message. In my other phone, I have customized it in my phone that actually I use while I'm driving. I will read to you what I put in there. Let's see, Do Not Disturb and auto reply. I put in there, instead of the standard message, which you see here on the screen, I put, Mary is driving and her phone will not allow her to get anywhere near it. Once her vehicle has come to a full and complete stop, she will be able to respond to your message. So that's what I've put in there. You can also put in an additional message that says, in case of an emergency, if your message is urgent, all you have to do is send a text to that number saying urgent, and your text message will come through and the driver will be notified that you have an urgent message. So that's the Do Not Disturb while driving. Fun Life photo effects. You can take your photos and then put some action to them. As you can see on this one, the original photo was just this guy diving off the dock, and then it shows him doing a somersault. Your personal DJ, Siri, play something I like, and Siri knows your favorites in your iTunes list, and he or she will play what you like. Let's see. So that's what's new in iOS 11. Of course, that's just a small piece. And then you have these other areas down here: featured items, everyday essentials, tips on photos, tips on mastering your messages, iCloud and You, and Apple Music. So, you know, a whole collection of really important information right there on your phone for you to take a look at. So the other thing I wanted to do, I am going to stop sharing this screen. And let's see if I can actually do this. I've got my iPad sitting here, and I'm going to go into my iPad. Let's see if I can do this. I'm going to just put this on my tips already. And then I am going to share my screen again, my phone or iPad, and I'm going to say share screen. Now it wants me to go in here, pull up my dock and screen mirroring, and I'm going to choose the computer that I'm using to record this on. And there we go. Awesome. So iOS 11, before I get into the tips, one of the cool things that you'll see is down here at the bottom, which is the new dock, which has been designed to mimic the dock on your Mac. And you can have, I think, up to 13 applications down in your dock. And then the 3 over here to the right are recent applications that you've had open. You can tap on any one of those to get to any of those apps. I can tap on the tips here, but the cool thing about it is it used to be that you would have to press your home button to get back to the home screen to see your dock at the bottom. No longer. All you have to do is swipe up from the bottom, and now you've got all of your apps there. So iOS 11, I haven't been in this on my iPad yet, so I'm just going to tap on what's new in iOS 11 and see if there's anything specific to the iPad in there. Control Center is the same. The new Files app is the same. Photo Effects is the same. Access the dock from anywhere. So this is specific to the iPad, and I just showed you that one. Better multitasking, and that is all coming from the dock, where you can have multiple screens open at the same time. So if I were to pull up my dock, I'm just going to try this, and let's go to, let's see, what's a good safe app to go in here? I'm going to say, let's pull up iTunes, and I can just kind of drag it up here and say, here's my iTunes music. And I can scroll through this, and yet I still have the tips application over here on this side, and I could still scroll through this. If I wanted to get rid of this, I can put it on a separate screen. I can move it this way. I can go back to my tips. So it's really an awesome way to multitask on your iPad. You can't do that on the iPhone because the screen's just way too small, but you can do that on the iPad. Drag and drop, you can drag and drop between 2 apps on the iPad because you have the ability to put them side by side, which is really, really cool. I have not played with it yet, but it's awesome. So if you wanted to take some text from an email and put it in a text message and send that out to somebody else, you could certainly do that. So the Apple Pencil, which is this thing that I've got here, the Apple Pencil is a really, really awesome device. And you can use it in a lot of different apps. You can use it in the Notes app. And I'm actually going to, let's go into my Notes app and let's do a new note. And we can go over here and we could say, okay, tap down there, tap here, maybe tap the color, and you could start writing on it here. Only draw with Apple Pencil, and I'm going to go back to my tips. And but it's really cool. Like it shows here, you can go in and you can draw, you can write. You can actually take a screenshot of something like a web page, and then on the screenshot, you can use your Apple Pencil to annotate various items. It's really amazing. So I love the Apple Pencil. I bought it about a year after I got my iPad Pro, and I don't use it all the time, but when I do have a need for it, it's really awesome. Let's see. Okay, learn more. And let's see. So they also have, featured collections, Everyday Essentials, Messages, iCloud, Apple Music, all those good things. And so I would urge you, if you have an iOS device and you just installed iOS 11, I would urge you to go into that little tips app. It's in this extras folder here. And that's where you can get to it right here. So I am going to take a quick break. I will be back in just a moment. You guys will just see a momentary blip. And I have some questions that have been posed to me, and I have some blog posts that I'd like to go over with you. So I will be back in just a few seconds. I'm back. Hope you enjoyed that quick little break. So a couple of other things that I wanted to talk to you all about in this show. I had a few questions that have been posed to me in the past week or so by clients. So the first one I wanted to talk about had to do with email hacking. So somebody sent me an email and said, I'm all of a sudden getting emails in my inbox that indicate that, the name indicates that it's from a friend, but when I look closely, the email address isn't associated with my friend. And what do I do about that? Does this mean that my computer has a virus? Do I need to, change my protection in some sort of way, or is it an issue with my friend? Usually when you get an email like that, your friend's email account has probably been hacked. And it's one of two things. It's either been hacked and somebody's sending email from that account, or what's more likely is that your friend's email account is being spoofed. And what that means is it looks like it's coming from your friend's account, yet it's coming from a completely different account, and they're trying to mask that a little bit. It has absolutely nothing to do with your computer, and there's nothing you have to be concerned about on your computer. But you want to let your friend know that, hey, I'm getting emails from you that, they're looks like they're coming from you, but they're really not. You might want to change the password on your email account, and maybe run a virus scan on your friend's computer. Have your friend run a virus scan just to make sure that everything's okay there. But you really can't control the amount of spam that comes into your inbox unless you use a spam filter. Outlook and Gmail, most of the major providers out there have a spam filter where you can go through your inbox and select various pieces of email and then click on the spam button and just mark those as spam. So instead of them coming into your inbox, they go into a spam or a junk folder instead. Now, a lot of people say, well, how can I, stop spam from coming at all? And it's really difficult to do because your email address has gotten out there on the web and it's being sold, or it's being stolen from all of these major computer hacks. Yahoo in particular. If you have a Yahoo email address, I urge you to get off of Yahoo. They've been hacked into so many times, and email addresses and client information has been stolen. It's not even funny. So I would get a different email provider. Maybe go to Gmail. It's one of the big ones, one of the best ones. And so what happens is you sign up for an email account, and then you go out on the web and you start using your email address for various web accounts. The people that you're signing up for with web accounts, a lot of them are going to sell their data. They mine their data and sell it to make money. So, what I usually tell people is get one email address that you only give that address to your friends and family members, and never use it for any account on the web. And then have a separate email account that you use for all your online shopping, all of your web accounts. And that way, that's the email account that's going to get the spam, and you can deal with it over there. Then you have your separate personal email account over here for family and friends that is not going to get any spam because that email address has never been used on the internet before. Kind of hard to do for a lot of people because they've had the same email account for a very long time. But if you're starting to deal with a lot of spam, you might want to kind of, bite the bullet, suck it up, and just create a new account. So the next question I had, or actually issue I dealt with, was a Mac computer. It was an iMac, and it was about 3 or 4 years old, running extremely slow. And to the point where it was painfully slow to open websites, open anything on the computer. I did an Apple hardware test, and all the hardware checked out okay. And so our next step is, I would have done it right then, but we didn't have a data backup. So the client's going to go out and buy a backup drive, and we're going to invoke Time Machine on the Mac, and we're going to have all the data backed up. Then we're just going to wipe it clean and install a fresh copy of the operating system on it. I think that's going to make all the difference in the world. If all the hardware checks out okay, it's got to be a software issue. So formatting that hard drive and reloading the operating system from scratch is going to be the thing to do. So I've got that scheduled for later in the week. So just kind of wanted to bring you guys up to speed on that. It could be a possible issue for a computer slowdown. It's not a hardware issue, it's going to be a software issue. So the next thing on my agenda is I wanted to talk to you all about a couple of blog posts that I've done recently. I do about 4 blog posts a month. I try and post a new article on my website every Monday. And if you go to my website, computerdiva.biz, and I've got it pulled up on my monitor over here, on the news tab is where all my blog posts are. And there were a couple that I did recently that I thought, I'm going to talk about in Diva Talk, and because you all might find the information interesting. And the first one I want to talk about is geared towards people who own their own business. And the title of the blog post is 3 Tech Tips to Make You a Better Business Owner. So one of the things that is going to make you a better business owner in terms of your employees and your staff really loving their job and enjoying it is set up a commuting policy. If you have the type of business where there are some tasks that can be done easily from home, allow those employee members to take maybe a day or 2 a week and work from home and get those tasks done. The technology is not that expensive to put together. It can almost be free to allow your employees to telecommute and log into their computers from home. A lot of businesses do it. Remote access software is prevalent out there. There's a lot of really good options for it. And if you need someone to set that up for you, I'm happy to do that for you. But remote employees are going to be happier employees. They're not going to have to deal with a commute. And if you live in any of the big cities in the United States, commutes can be a nightmare. I know here in Portland, Oregon, which is across the river from me, the traffic is becoming horrible, and I don't like going over there anymore unless it's absolutely necessary. So, and I used to drive that commute to downtown Portland every day, and it was a nightmare. So your staff is going to be much happier if they're able to, get up in the morning and, do their exercise, do their workout, sit down at their desk, get their job knocked out. And they're also going to have fewer interruptions than they would have at the office. The office politics, the office chit chat, believe me, it happens. I've experienced it. So they'll be much happier if they can just be productive, get their job done. And it doesn't have to be full time. It could be 1 or 2 days a week, but that's going to make them happy. The second thing that is going to make you a better business owner in terms of technology is do not cheap out on your technology. Don't go to Best Buy or Staples or Office Max and buy the $399 computer. It is not going to last for you. It is built with inferior parts. The business class computers cost more money for a reason, and it's because the manufacturers use the solid, proven parts on the inside, the motherboards, the processors, the memory chips, the hard drives, the video cards. The technology that's used in business class computers is just designed to last. It's like going to one of the expensive furniture stores and buying a really, really solid, good wood dining room table versus going to IKEA and buying something that you have to put together. So if you cheap out on your technology over the long run, it's going to cost you a whole lot more money in repairs than it will as if you expended the dollars on the front end and bought really good equipment that you don't have to really spend a whole lot of repair dollars on. Number 3, embrace the cloud. The cloud is awesome technology, and it actually allows your business to be more nimble, and it allows you to be able to perform your tasks from just about anywhere without having to put your expensive software packages on your computer. So for instance, there's a lot of CRMs that you can access from the web instead of loading the software on your computer and having like a client server technology set up in your office. I have a CRM that I use that I can log into it from any computer and get access to all my client data, my trouble tickets, my invoicing, all that kind of stuff I can access from anywhere. Your accounting packages, your file management, your photo management, all of that could be done on the cloud and could make your life a whole lot easier and make it simpler for you to just do your work. So embrace the cloud, don't cheap out on technology, and give your employees a break and let them commute from home, telecommute from home a couple of days a week. Those 3 things in terms of technology is going to make you a much better business owner. So the next thing I wanted to talk about, that was for small businesses. I wanted to talk about one of the other blog posts, how to tell if your computer has a virus. And I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I have a brand new blog post on that. So I'd kind of like to go through, there are 6 things in this blog post anyway. There's a lot more, but 6 things that can be happening to your computer, which is a really good sign that you might have a virus. So number 1, bizarre error messages on your screen. You know, those awesome, or not awesome, those annoying little pop-ups that come up on your screen and actually tell you you have a virus, but and to call a particular number. It's not really an indicator of a virus at that point in time. The virus doesn't take place until you actually call that number and let somebody into your computer where they will actually give you a virus. But there are other pop-up messages that you can get as well. They could be ads, just ads popping up on your screen. And they could be ads popping up just in your browser. It's an indicator that there is some sort of virus activity going on your computer. So not all pop-ups are alike. If you find that your antivirus or anti-malware software is all of a sudden deactivated, surefire sign that you have a virus. A lot of the viruses out there, what they will actually do as soon as they land on your computer is deactivate your antivirus and anti-malware software, so they cannot detect that this virus is actually on your computer. So if you find that it is deactivated, you actually want to go back and reactivate it and run a scan as soon as possible. Social media messages you didn't send, maybe you have friends texting you or private messaging you, responding to a message that you never sent. It could be an indicator that there might be a virus on your computer or that an account has been hacked and somebody is sending those messages on your behalf. Your web browser is acting up. Maybe everything is taking a very long time to populate on your browser. Maybe you notice that you have maybe a few toolbars at the top of your browser that you didn't notice a few days ago, or maybe on your home page, it's a different page, and all of a sudden you've got all of these icons down below the search bar. My Way Search, My Way Maps, Maps Galaxy. Those are just a few examples of toolbars that may have been put in your browser without your knowledge. Browser extensions, they're all going to slow your browser down and make your browsing experience a little painful. Is your computer all of a sudden acting really sluggish? Surefire sign that there might be a virus on your system. Now, when I talked a few minutes ago about this Mac that I was working on that was really, really slow, it could have been an indicator of a virus, but 99.9% chance it's not, because it's a Mac. Macs don't tend to get viruses like Windows computers do. So if it's a Mac, it's probably an indicator of something else. Corrupt operating system, a lot of cache files on the system that need to be cleaned out. But on a Windows computer, it could be a very surefire sign that you have a virus. Constant computer activity. Maybe your fan's running a lot, or if you know how to get into your task manager, if you right-click on the taskbar and choose Task Manager, you can click on the Performance tab, and it will show you graphical representations of your CPU, your hard disk usage, and your memory usage. And if those are spiking all the way at the top, but yet you're not doing anything on your computer, it's probably a virus running in the background. So those are 6 things that could be signs that you have a virus on your system. And of course, the first thing you want to do is run a scan with your antivirus software. Hopefully you have antivirus software. And if you don't, just let me know. I can resolve that issue for you. You can go to computerdiva.biz, click on my products tab, and click on managed antivirus, and it's going to show you the options for my antivirus software that we can actually put on your system. So with that said, I think that's all that I had on my agenda to talk about tonight. So I will be back with you all 2 weeks from tonight, and we will do another show. Kelly will be back in town, and she'll be producing behind the scenes. So I look forward to that, and I just want to say thank you very much for listening in, watching in, and you all have a great night, and I will chat with you in 2 weeks. Good night.